Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Basking Broodscale on the draw for game one. I don't know why. I was talking to a few people. We were kind of discussing post RC meta, and Broodscale kind of came up again. I was like, you know what? Let's try it out and see what we can do. Found the Broodscale. Okay. So this is still the lab version, though I am a little bit more heavy into red. Opponent will pass. There's a rumble. I will tuck Emrakul here. Cast Rumble. Rumble resolves. I will grab. So green, one. I suppose I'll grab Temple here. Blade, pass. I mean, at the current moment in time, we have the win next turn. Opponent missed their land drop. We'll take it. We don't know what we're up against. Sporfix Springs is seen in a lot of decks, but it's blue, so we're bringing Cavern Souls. We'll cut the... what? Probably lab here. That's one thing I still don't like about this version is that sideboarding's rough at times. Blue probably doesn't need Haywire Might. Could need Unholy Heat, though. We kind of rumble since we're keeping the gemstone in. There's Chrysalis here. Needle seems reasonable for blue. So does Soul Guide to some degree. Warping Whale, Thief. Let's go with another Vexing Bauble. Again, we're kind of going in blind. And I'm trying to remind myself how many green swords I have. 2, 4, 8, 12, 14. So we can actually trim on Beseiju here, I think. And run it back like that. Let's try this. Now, I try and cap this deck off at 21 lands if I can help it. 21 lands max and like 20... I guess 19. I can go down to 19 pretty reasonably on the low end. But we're running another Writhing Chrysalis. We're running 2 Writhing Chrysalis now with the meta becoming a bit more aggro was my thought there. Might want a 3rd Chrysalis, might want a 4th Saga, we'll see. Currently I kind of like 3 Saga, 4 Blades over 4 Sagas. I will keep and pass. Fledge Strand, pass, draw. Springleaf Drum. We do like Springleaf Drum. Because this way we can go Saga Fleshrake Blade. Fledge Strand, Fetch, Surveil. This could be Neobrand. Put it on top. We'll find out in a second. Snow-covered Island. Could be Birthing Writ. Birthing Writ. Okay. So it is Simic Birthing Ritual. We'll draw. Bobble. I want to avoid a flare here, so I think the Vexing Bobble might be correct. Force of Vigor's rude as hell. Yep. We'll cast the Vexing Bauble then, and pass. And pass. I guess I should have played the Vexing Bauble before the Saga. Like, I want to play the Bauble... I guess, yeah, we could have sequenced that better. Because had I played the Bauble first, we could have played around the Force, right? And then played the Blade. So the sequencing wouldn't have mattered. It would have been the same. So that was a missequence on my part. Draw. Saga Trigger Flash Rake. And I really wish I had that Springleaf Drum now. Yeah, so that was a missequence, 1000%. Didn't even think about Force, to be honest. I was thinking more about Flare than Force of Vigor. Opponent's paying cost. No attacks. Or not paying cost. Birthing Red. I guess just gonna hold up probably a hard cast Flare here if I had to guess. Okay, there's Harbinger. Annoying, but fine. I'll cast Blade of the Blood Chief. Trigger. This is mana neutral. I actually do want them to counter this because then I can play my second Flesh Raker. Unless they consign the trigger. Okay, they consign the trigger. Well, yield all. In that case, here's another blade. Lab. And we'll equip the Flesh Rake. Alright, no attacks. Do need to note that Saga still does generate colorless right now, since we did see the first chapter. But now if they sacrifice for a ritual, the Flesh Rake will grow as a result, which is nice. Yeah, had I sequenced that better, we would be in a much better position than we are right now. That's so unfortunate. Ice Fang, draw a card. Don't they have a Coiling Oracle in hand? Why not play the Coiling Oracle? Interesting. Maybe for the Death Touch? Dismember, target. Yep. Not much I can do about that, unfortunately. We'll take the 2 down to 17. I do need a Talisman or a Forest here. 4 hits off the top for this Rumble. Do you sacrifice the Ice Fang Quaddle? You do. For another Ice Fang. And draw. I'll play the Temple and cast Flesh Rake number 2. And you have another Consign. You do not. Another Blade will be equipped. And we will pass. Yeah, I'd like that Harbinger off board, if at all possible, but I can't exactly attack into them to threaten their life total as long as that Ice Fang's untapped. So right now we're kind of stuck in a stalemate, and they're getting a ton of value off that Birthing Root. Abhorrent Oculus will resolve. We'll take 1 down to 16. So they have started a pretty fast clock here. Blade trigger. Another Ock. Triggers always yield. Can't exactly do much about those. 2 manifest creatures, and Emrakul. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna crack the Vexing Bauble, unfortunately. Well, that doesn't help me. We'll pass. Yeah, Harbinger makes this pretty difficult. We'll take 10 down to 6. Lethal will be on board. Not to mention they'll have plenty of blockers regardless. Again, had I sequenced that Vexing Bauble better, I would have been in a much better position. So yeah, I should have thought about that, and I just did not. Is that the Quelling Oracle finally? Oh, they flipped the Coiling Oracle, but it doesn't enter, so you don't draw or don't trigger it as a result. But I guess you can now sack it to Writ, is the thought. Oh, you know what? I bet they did. They pitched it to Force. I wasn't even thinking about that. Alright. Triggers. I mean, I don't think I have an out here. Draw. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a no. I will concede. Okay, well now I know what I'm up against, which is a good start. So we are going to want a Sage, we're going to want Cage, we're going to want Awarmite. Soul Guide Lantern's also relevant. Wastegate Battle Mage. And even Thief, but that's probably going to be too much. Let's see. Chrysalis is kind of okay here. It does block Ock at a certain point. Instrument of Flesh Rake. We can cut Gemstone. Already did that. Pithing Needle, not as much. Soul Guide Lantern is good. Vexing Bauble's good. Grafter's Cage is good. Still need to cut 6. Heat's also good. Right now we're 21 lands. We can cut to Chris. And then what? I guess we can cut Thief. Keep Wastegate. Maybe drop Might and Soul Guide. Yeah, let's do it like that. On the play for game 3. Okay. It's looking promising. Forest Sprawl. Looking for a 7-mana value spell or a temple. There's the temple. And we'll pass. And pass. I shouldn't have anything on turn 1. I say as they shock that in, or bolt it in rather. Devourer. I'll start with Starrings number 2. There's Basking Broodscale, there's Saga. Saga seems pretty good here. We'll grab the Saga. Play the Saga. I know there was the Brood as well, but I think going Saga for Saga beats might be better. Of course they could force it, but it doesn't seem like they have it. I don't want to tuck Devour if I don't have to. I want to have that available to me if at all possible. But looks like they have an Ice Fang. Saga trigger a 3rd K command. We'll hold now. See if they flash in the Ice Fang. They do. We'll draw a card. And they play the Birthing Rite. We're going to try and K command the Ice Fang. Try and keep them off of Birthing Rite shenanigans. Go to combat. We'll take the 1 or not. Alright, I'll attempt to exile it. And done. Consign a memory. Alright, yield all. And Cavernous Souls. I'm going to float here. And let's go with Grafdigger's Cage. I will play Cavern of Souls. No, probably not any reason to play the Cavern of Souls just yet. Don't need to reveal it. I'll play the Forest, and then we'll just pass, hold up the K command X2. Another Ice Fang, they'll draw a card. Yeah, Harbinger here would be pretty rough, admittedly. Coin Oracle Resolve. Important Oculus to hand. Take another 2 down to 18. End step. I will ramp an exile. Try again. That will resolve. Draw. Carplucent Forest. We could fire off the Devourer here. It's not a horrible idea since I can guarantee its resolution. Yep, we'll go with Cavern Souls, name Eldrazi. And go after the Ice Fang, and then pass in full. Ice Fang down, so no more Death Touch shenanigans. End step, Flooded Strand fetch. Breeding Pool Shock down to 11. And another Ice Fang. Alright, we'll pass. Quelling Oracle, Beseiju. I will... Oh, I have all my basics on field. That's so unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, Birthing Root, you do. Alright, what do you find? Worst case snare is a Harbinger. Foreign Yard. There's the Harbinger. So we're gonna have to just force them to block, basically. I'll play the Carplucin and then go to combat. Ice Fang doesn't have Death Touch yet. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So right now, 2 short of Emrakul, so we can't play it next turn if we draw into it, but the turn after. I do wonder if I should have just made constructs earlier. Potentially. Okay. Blue. Dismember. Well, shit. Yeah, that presents a real problem, admittedly. Alright, we'll pass. think I'm in trouble now. Yeah, I'm thinking earlier maybe just making the constructs would have been the better play. At least would have had more on board at this present point in time. Since they weren't playing the ritual, there's no reason for us to go after the coiling oracles. That may have been correct. Because now we're just kind of under lock and key with no real recourse to speak of. I'll play the Grove. We'll play the Blade and pass. And if we draw into a Broodscale, we can combo off if allowed to. Down to 9. 4 in hand, 2 known. There's the Oculus. Ice Fang, draw a card. Not sure if they actually know if Illithip is in hand. Either way, they'll have 2 unknowns in hand. Blade triggers. There's an oof. That is an oof. Triggers. And draw. I will concede. Yeah, so I think maybe a bit of a misplay. So missequence in what, game 2, and then I'd say not necessarily misplay, but I think I probably should have made constructs instead of going off of the K commands early. Because again, just having the constructs on board, even if they were just 2/2s at that point in time, could have presented some pressure on board that my opponent otherwise would not have been able to ignore. All right. Well, this is our first game of Broodscale. First match of Broodscale in a hot minute, so we'll need to shake off some rust and then we'll be back on it. But we'll be back for match 2. All right, we're back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. We'll play Temple Soul Guide here. Supposedly this is a bit of a mirror match. Saga trigger, definitely looking like it. And this looks familiar. Brood, we love to see that. And pass. Hold on off chance it's relevant. So we're looking for Blade. Thing is, they're going to get to their Blade before I do. So if they have a Brood here, we're in trouble. Eee, I'm in danger. I need a K command, right? K command or Needle or Haywire Mite. I don't know if I can do it. Because they'll be able, if they have another land, they'll be able to equip, adapt. Well, that is unfortunate. I mean, I don't have anything for 1 mana that will... I guess I do. Okay, so we'll dig deeper with Rumble than we will with the Lantern. Let's find Needle. We need Needle here for Blade of the Blood Chief. Hey, there we go. So then we can name Blade of the Blood Chief. And then pass. And pass. So now if they get Blade, they can't win just yet. Okay, they have the Haywire Mite, they go to the Needle, that's fine. Next turn I can play Flesh Rake and Brood. Another Saga. Ballista on top of which. Alright, so they definitely have the win if this Saga goes off. Draw. Talisman. Nope. Moto's having a moment. We'll give it a second. So how do we want to proceed? Because imagine they're not going to haywire my until they absolutely have to. Trigger, flash. ETB triggers. I will pass. And we'll hold. Saga trigger. So I have a turn to deal with this saga. So I need a haywire mite at this point. Or a K command. I will hold. And draw. There's the K command. Perfect. So we can exile Broodscale when they go to equip, and then from there we can scry draw. Talisman is mana neutral. So I'm gonna play Talisman 1. Talisman 2. And hold K command. No attacks. Because they can make a construct. Alright, there's the haywire mite on the needle. That will resolve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they don't have an Emrakul, so we're good there. Saga trigger. Float. There's the blade. Go to equip the blade. In response, I'm going to scry draw exile. And scry draw exile. And done. Alright, triggers, yield all. There's Besage You, there's Rumble. Let's say bottom all, top Rumble, top Besage You, and draw, land, equip blade. Okay. Red, heat, yes. Heat main is interesting. I mean, there's no way I could put that out of range. So yes, that will die. Unfortunately, I'll trigger Ballista. So Ballista could pop Flesh. Pops the spawn. In response, I'll sack it. Five, six, seven, 8. I'm gonna draw a card of the Soul Guide Lantern here. Exile my yard. Yep. And passing. Draw. Let's fire off Rumble first. Sure enough, there's the Emrakul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do I want to proceed here? Let's go Emrakul. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What just happened? Oh, I must have pressed 1 by accident. That's whoops on my part. Grove and pass. No attacks. I don't know about Beseiju yet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I kind of want them to kill the Flesh Rake, to be honest. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They know about the Emrakul now. So they're going to be pretty skeptical of killing the Flesh Rake, admittedly. Waterlog Grove is interesting. Probably tells me they're on Ice Till. Blade. Blade to equip. We're going to pop the Ballista then. Yield all. If you ping the Flesh Rake, we have the Emrakul. Yep, that's fine by me. Yield all. Alright. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's an Emrakul. Our turn, comrade. K command, K command. Grove of the Burn Willows. So we can K command. Scry draw, target me. So I kind of want to get rid of this Waterlog Grove, but then they can just play the K command with the Grove. So how do I want to proceed? Go to main. Could play the Waterlog Grove and then use both K commands. We could go K command X equals 1. Yeah, I guess the best thing we can do is that. We'll go Grove. So K command ramp scry draw. I'm going to have to ramp scry draw. And X equals 1. I do not want to Saga right now, I don't think. And then K command, well, let's go ramp scry draw, target me. Oh, I just realized. For some reason, why did I think this generated, why did I just think that this generated colorless? Isn't there one that does, or am I confusing for something else? I think I must be confusing it for another land. That's on me. We'll trigger. I should have X equals 2'd. That's on me. I will have them draw a card, lose a land. It's a forest, and we'll pass. So forest K command, they can K command X equals 2 and go digging, which is not nothing, admittedly. Yeah, gonna play that a bit better. If I had just K command X2'd. Haywire Might. I'm gonna start with Ancient Stirrings. There's Basking Broodscale, there's Fleshraker. I mean, both of these are GGs. So, cast Basking Broodscale. Cast Blade of the Blood Chief. Go to equip. Using... Oh, I'm trying to think here. So if I equip the Emrakul, I can then cast Haywire Might. I guess if I had gone Flesh, yeah, no. No, K command now. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I should have went Fleshraker, shouldn't I? Because I went Fleshraker. Then I could have cast Fleshraker, cast the Blade, trigger. They would have then had to K command the Fleshraker. And then we equip Blade to Emrakul. We still get the spawn, yeah. I think we just equip Emrakul here for sure. And then I can equip Haywire Might. I suppose what I'll do here, or cast Haywire Might. I'm going, nope, I don't want to do that one. I will adapt. Always yes, always yield. Oh, did I mistap as well? I did. Yeah, because I don't want to use Grove is the problem. Because now I can deal 14. I could have dealt 15 if this wasn't the Grove left untapped. So I should have tapped differently because I fired off Stirrings with Forest. And I played Temple Karplusan. And then I equipped using this. I adapted. So I should have tapped this earlier. Yeah, no, I should have played this slightly differently. Because we sack the spawn, sure, right? Triggers the blade. No, so the issue is that the Grove of the Burn Willows is going to gain them 1 life. So that's the issue. So because this will gain them 1 life, I can't go that route. I can play the Haywire Might, but it won't matter. So I think I mistapped. Because if I had played Ancient Stirrings of the Forest and then played the Broodscale of Karplusan Temple and then used the Talisman Temple for Adapt, tap the Temple for the Emrakul, and then I should have tapped the Grove for the Haywire Might or the spawn for the Haywire Might. I could have basically had a green up. That wasn't the Grove, I think. So that's on me. 1010% on me. If I had done that a little bit differently, we would have had the win. There's also, I think, a a better, cleaner choice, I think, would have just been the Flesh Rake. Because we could have played the Flesh Rake, equipped the Blade to the Emrakul. We would have had a spawn. We'd have played the Might. Again, we've had ample mana to make it work, but now they have a chance to retaliate. So that's on me. I messed up. If they win, that's purely on me misplaying. We can win this, but they can also win this here. Keep in mind they have a Forest in hand, and that's it. So they can dig 2. 1 top, 1 bottom. I don't know what it is. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They have 2 blades. Ancient Stirrings goes digging. They can 1000% win through the Might here since they have 2 blades, not 1. There's the Brood. I mean, now they need a... Basically, they need to have a payoff in hand. If they have a payoff in hand, they could win. There's Brood. Alright. So they go to equip. So stop yielding all. So they sack. They haven't equipped yet. So this will yield to all. They can equip now. And so now we Haywire Might. Triggers, and then pass in full. So now they can equip again, and they can make infinite colorless mana. Once the last card in hand, that's not a forest. So we know that they have a forest and 1 unknown in hand. Because forest unknown, they Stirrings found Brood. Wait, what? Why would you sack the spawn? Ancient Stirrings? Okay, so the last card was an Ancient Stirrings. But why sack them? That was weird. One scoops it up. We got the win. Definitely misplayed a lot there, though. Admittedly. Okay, so we're gonna want Heat in. Wastegate, Battle Mage, and Thief is reasonable. Vaccine Bubble out. Soul Guide, Lantern, Might. Pithy Needle stays. We don't really need Chrysalis here. Got a Rumble. We can cut a Flesh, but do we want to? Thinking we cut the Thief, keep the Flesh, have 2 Wastegate, 2 Heats, and maybe run it back like this. Yes, that seems reasonable. All right. Alrighty, right. Yeah, opponent also played a little strangely, but I'll say I myself could have played much better there. There were a lot better lines than I pulled and much better sequencing. Again, it's been a hot minute since I've played Brood. Either green source here, we can keep it. I'm gonna actually dig 8 for it. Worst comes to worst, goes Saga on 1, Lab on 2, start making constructs. Blade, that's an early blade, but scary. Heal to all. Blade of the Blood Chief is good. Kozak's command I think is better. Yeah, I think we just go command here. Need some interaction. I'm gonna go Saga and pass. And pass. Saga trigger. Rumble. There's TKS. I imagine they take the TKS. Yes. There's Needle. That was a weird one. I kind of was hoping to find Needle off of Saga, not gonna lie. Thing is, if they have a land and a Broodscale in hand, they can just outright win. So I think I need to play Needle here. And grab Blade of the Blood Chief. And I'm actually going to do this now that I think about it. Done. And then pass. This should stop them from TKSing next turn for what it's worth. Saga triggers, stirrings, need a green source though. Kind of wish I had got that talisman earlier. Oh, there's a TKS regardless. Springleaf Drum's also an exile. Nature's Claim, rude. Draw. Unholy Heat ain't doing jack right now. One downside of this version, it's kind of light on colored sources. We try and make up for it with whatchamacallit, with Devourer. I think taking the K command there was still correct. Their Saga. They still need Brood. There's the TKS. Imagine they take the Unholy Heat here, potentially. Like, taking the Rumbles or the Stirrings doesn't matter too much. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me, since interaction for Brood. And they have a way to get rid of the Pithing Needle. All they need is the Broodscale now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Draw. There's a Flesh Rake. Honestly, I was kind of hoping for a green source. We'll pass. And they play 2 Heat main. Alright, so do they have the Broodscale? At the very least, they want to equip the Blade. Three cards in hand. They would need a Broodscale plus a Finisher. Do you have a payoff? So show me and I'll concede. Alright, letting opponent know that if they show me a payoff, I'll just concede. Otherwise, I mean, we can chump block a Broodscale all day. Okay, they do not have a payoff. I'll consider the Broodscale to be million/million. So I'm just letting them know that I'm going to consider the Broodscale to be lethal damage. Basically, if it touches me, it has the text, I lose the game. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. I will go with the Rumble here. That gets me a blocker at the very least. There's a Haywire Mite. Oh wow, this pull is weird. I mean, the Broodscale's already a million, but we could cut them off of a finisher. Of course, they're going to have another Blade next turn's the problem. Yeah, that is a problem, actually. Since they're going to have another Blade, they can make the TKS or the Spawn a million. So I'm going to need 3 blockers here, right? Yes, I'll need 3 blockers is bottom line. So we could 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I need a 3rd blocker, so I can go Emrakul. Actually, wait, can I? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, we're too short, aren't we? Unfortunate. It goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah. So we'll have to go either Blade or the Haywire Mites. Haywire Mite would allow me to keep the Flesh Rakes. I'm going to go Haywire Mite. Trigger. The next problem for the turn after, though, is the fact that they'll have an army of infinite tokens, right? We'll just play the Haywire Mite here. Triggers. Yeah, if I had another green source, this would have been better. And at this point, I'll pass in full. We'll float. Get a second Blade. Oh. What? I mean, if you got a second Blade, you could make infinite tokens. Infinite tokens. Unless they draw into a payoff. Cavern Souls. You draw into a payoff. Okay, Emrakul. I guess that kind of answers my question. Okay, there's the K command. I'll concede. There we go. That's all I need to see. They have the K command. All right. We'll cut Gemstone. We'll bring back Rumble and run it back. Yeah. It's possible that taking the Talisman earlier with the Devourer may have been right, realistically speaking. Yeah. All right. Oh, we're on the play for game 3. There's Blade, there's 2 Devourers, but I need lands is the problem. I need lands and I need Brood. We can make it work. It's not my favorite hand, though. Because I see Brood off of Devour, it's kind of a feels bad. I see Stirrings. We'll take the Stirrings. And then we'll play Blade and pass and pass. Here's a forest. We draw. Cast Stirrings. Digging for a land. There's a lab. Play lab. Imprint Devourer. Cast Talisman. I'm tempted to play the Soul Guide Lantern here, but I think it's right to hold it for next turn so we can play the Fleshraker and the Soul Guide, so that way we ramp up. Okay, never mind. I guess you'll Nature's Claim it. Why would your Nature's Claim that and not the Blade? Weird, but okay. Temple, Rumble. There's Brood. Chooses Fleshrake. Draw. Second Blade. We'll cast the Fleshrake and pass. There's Fleshrake. Do you have the Brood? If you have the Brood and Blade, you win. There's Brood. Trigger. Do you have the Blade? Trigger Blade. Soul Guide, so they do not have the Blade. I mean, I guess they still could, theoretically. Alright, no Blade. We draw. Oh, well. It's not the game, but it's pretty freaking close. Well, I guess it is the game, unless this Fleshraker dies. I almost forgot that I had a Fleshraker on board. I was like, I don't have a payoff in hand. Alright. I will attempt to equip. And then attempt to cast a second Blade. Trigger. I mean, you're dead to the Fleshrake. They're gonna draw off the Soul Guide. Nope, I was gonna scoop it up. Okay, we got there. Yeah, that Broodscale up top was clutch. Cool stuff. Alright, we'll be back for match number 3. Alright, we're back for match 3 on the play for game 1. I'll keep. Alright, so we have Grove of the Burn Willows. We could play Blade. There's no real reason to do so, though. I'll just play the Grove. We'll pass. And pass. We're going to Rumble here, looking for Brood. Draw, Polluted Delta. Okay, no need to find the Brood. In that case, playing the Fleshrake would be correct. Because then we can win next turn. We'll pass. Because Blade's mana neutral, Brood is a -1. Or is just 1, so we should have enough to play Brood and to equip Blade. Hedge Maze Surveil. Is this Neobrand? If it is Neobrand, they could win here. Misty Rain and Passing Draw. Alright, I mean, we're going to go for it, right? So we'll play Basking Broodscale. Triggers. Misty Rainforest. Snow-covered forest. And Ice Fang. Ice Fang is fine unless you have a flare. Okay. And then I will cast Blade of the Blood Chief. I'll equip. And I'll sack. Always yield. Always yes. And opponent scoops it up. Okay. So Birthing Ritual, win for game 1. Very reminiscent of match 1, but at least in this case, we know what our opponent's on in game 2. So there's some thought to do this. We're going to want Besage, Cavernous Souls. Well, I guess we don't necessarily need Besage necessarily. And then we want the Vexing Bauble. We don't need Pith. We want Graft Diggers. We want Soul Guide-ish. Cut Rumble. And cut Chrysalis, I think. We could trim on Flesh Raker. What would we trim on? Or trim for? I guess the Soul Guide Lantern is a thought. The thing is they can get around the restriction for Oculus pretty easily. Alright, let's run it back like this. So we need to play around free spells, hence the Vexing Baubles. Yeah, we can make this work. Reveal, Devour, looking for a soul land. Keep, reveal, pass. Play Bauble on 1. Breeding Pool, tapped, trigger. There is Brood. So I'm going to grab the Brood. I am going to go with Stirrings or Bauble here. Let's go Stirrings. Second Bauble, grab the Karplusan, and pass, and pass. Probably an Ice Fang if I had the gas. Forest. In that case, I will play Karplusan and cast Bauble. Does Bauble resolve? Pain cost. Ice Fang resolves, draws a card. Do you have a Flare? No Flare, but now means that Flare's offline. We'll hold. Next turn we'll play the Flesh Raker and make it uncounterable. Worst case scenario here would be a Birthing Writ into a Harbinger. Now the 19, end step, draw, Lab. Lab doesn't change the math, so we're going to play Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. Play Flesh Raker number 1, and then pass in full. Dismember, rude as hell. Misty Rainforest fetch, Snow-Covered Forest for another Ice Fang. Yep, draws a card. And pass. No reason to play the Lab. I think we just play the Flesh Rake. Basically, we're just trying to play through the counter magic. Springleaf. Play the Forest. Flesh Rake number 2. Cast Springleaf, trigger. Don't tell me I have another Dismember. Resolves. And I will pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can play the Devour next turn. Endurance. That's fine. Looks like they're just trying to race me to the bottom, basically. And get rid of Endurance next turn. No reason to play the Broodscale yet. Draw. K command. We'll play the Lab. No Imprint. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Triggers, Exile Endurance, Seal to all. And we don't want to play into an Ice Fang, so we're just going to pass. And pass. I'm fine taking 2 in the air from the Ice Fangs. They're going to have to hold back 1 anyways for the Devourer. And next turn we can set up a K command. I guess I should hold up the ability to respond on the off chance they try and pop the Bauble. Ping cost 4. Yeah, having a Cavern of Souls here, definitely pretty clutch. There's the Birthing Writ. Yep, like I said, they're going to have to hold back 1. Down to 11. Birthing Writ trigger. What do you find? Harbinger would be the worst case. Coiling Oracle is absolutely a-okay. Finds another Coiling Oracle, and we'll draw. Gemstone. In that case, I will cast Brood. Triggers. And... oh, they no longer have Death Touch, do they? Yeah, because Ice Fang's off board. So now I can attack with Devourer. Coiling Oracle will block. There is a world where going after this Ice Fang might be right. Paying cost for the Coiling Oracle. Finds Hedge Maze Surveils. Yep. Birthing Writ to Yard. And I imagine attacking or no attacking? No attacking. End step, trigger. I'm going to have you sack 1 first. Because I should have ability... no, I don't think I do have ability to respond. I'll cast the K command now. And done. Paying cost. There's the consign that I figured they had, but worth a shot. Down to 9. And they sack the Coiling Oracle for... an Oculus. Okay. So we're able to make a blocker per turn now, basically. Oct trigger. And draw. There's Unholy Heat. Unfortunately, I don't have enough types in Yard. I mean, I think I will just attack with the Devourer here. Blocks with the Ice Fang instead of the Manifest creature. That's a bit perplexing, I'm not gonna lie. The Manifest creature is something they want to keep then. I'll hit the Manifest creature then. What is it? It's an I was right. Like if they're not blocking with the manifest creature, it has to be something that they want. So that made sense to me. All right, we'll pass. We can make Basking Broodscale into a 3/3, drain them for 1 down to 8. I'm likely gonna take 5 here down to 6. What else you got? Fibblethip. They'll draw a card. Yep. End step. Ritual. What do you find? Well, another Ock is a genuine problem. How do you want to proceed? Let's adapt the Basking Broodscale here. Drain you for 1. Always yes, always yield. Trigger. I think at this point, I'm going to crack the bauble. Carplusen's not it. We will yield to all. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have enough for Emrakul if we draw into it. Emrakul. Ask and you shall receive, friends. Ask and you shall receive. So 1 and 2 triggers. Yield all. So unless you have a sink in the stupor, well, that will do it. Shit. Subtlety. Subtlety will do its thing. Yield all. I still take control of your turn, though. So we're not necessarily dead yet. Okay, well, with that we are. And the consign will do it. Ironically, the bauble cost us. If we had kept if we still had the bauble, it'd be fine, but it doesn't matter now. I think we just lose. Because that's 10. We can attack for 11, but they'll be able to block 2 easily, eat one of my cards, and swing back on the crackback for the win. So I will concede. Alright. So we're going to want to cut the gemstone and bring back in the rumble and run it back. I wonder if the Wastecape is worth it versus Chrysalis. Again, the benefit of Chrysalis is it can block those flyers. Maybe that is better. Let's run that back instead. Yeah. I think the Chrysalis might be better in this matchup after all. Because, yeah, we can get rid of Birthing Ritual, but I think Chrysalis being able to block the Oculus reasonably is pretty important in this matchup. On the play for game 2, or 3 rather, I'll keep. And we'll play the Temple and pass. We'll hold. Island. Passing. Draw. Lab. I'll play the Carplusen. Let's try and resolve the Rumble as Rumble Resolve. It does. I am going to want Chrysalis, I think, here. I'm gonna grab the Chrysalis, and then I'll pass. Imagine they pass here, hold up Coiling Oracle. Yep. And draw. Another lab. I'll play lab. Done. I will cast the Talisman. If I do that, it's mana neutral. I mean, the Fleshraker is going to get countered is the biggest thing. I can't imagine it's going to resolve is my only issue. I'll cast the Fleshrake. Does it resolve? Unlikely, but we'll see. Stern Scolding. And then we'll fire off another Rumble. There's Blade of the Blood Chief. There's the Karplusan Forest. I mean, next turn we can Talisman of the Chrysalis, but I think we'll go for the Blade here. And pass. Mr. Rainforest Fetch down to 19. Snow-covered forest and passing. This very well might be a Harbinger then. Would be my guess. Breeding Pool Shock Harbinger. Quelling Oracle, no Harbinger. Okay. Sing the Stupor in the hand. And passing, we'll draw. Forest. So we can just play the Chrysalis here. Not confident in its resolution, though. So there is a world where I just instead, I don't know, bait out with Blade? No, it's not gonna work. Could Kozilek's command, use it as permission. I will cast the Talisman. Does Talisman resolve? I'm gonna hold the K command X2 as permission here. Because they very specifically shocked in that breeding pool, right? But now even if they play a Harbinger, we can play through with the Crystal, or we can play through it. There's the Sync Bolt. There's an Oof. I'll tap this now. And I'm going to scry draw exile the Oof. Another Chrysalis. Bottom, top, draw, Oof down. You have a second Oof, you have a Birthing Rite. We'll pass in full. We'll attack for 1, down to 17. We'll take it. I guess if I did take the force, I could have played both, admittedly. They're tapped out, which is nice. How many types do I have in yard right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like 6 types. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And draw. What do we find here? And there's a temple. I'll play the temple, and I will attempt to resolve Writhing Chris. Do you have a flare or solitude? Again, maybe I should have taken that, whatchamacallit? Should have taken that forest, because I could have played both consecutively. I'll play Blade. I will equip Blade to a spawn. And I will pass. Force. That is kind of annoying. What did you pitch for force? You pitched a Coiling Oracle. Yes, that will resolve. Take the wand down to 15. Birthing Writ trigger. Sack. If you find a Harbinger, that's going to be a difficult situation. Two cards left in hand. Coiling Oracles. Oh, not Coiling Oracle. Icewing Quaddle's fine. Draw. Let's go again. Yield all. Trigger resolves and a Stern Scolding. Yeah, again, I definitely misplayed earlier by not grabbing the force as well. I wasn't thinking about double casting. I should have. I was thinking like, well, I kind of want something better off top. But I think having the double cast when they're tapped out would have been right. Because then we would have been able to guarantee resolution of at least one of them, most likely. Whereas now if they play a Harbinger, then we're in trouble. Or if one of these just doesn't resolve, we're in trouble. Because now they have an Oculus. Icewing Quaddle attacks, down to 13. And you have spawns for days. You have 2 cards in hand. Again, worst case scenario, here's a Harbinger. Oof is fine. Trigger Ock, Manifest, and draw. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bait them with this Chrysalis. This Chrysalis resolve. Because Chrysalis can get pretty big here. There's an Icefang. They'll draw a card. Alright. Well, in that case, I'll play a land. No imprint. This is 7. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Trigger. 6, 7. Our turn, comrade. Besiege you, Misty Rain. So, don't care about much Besiege you. There's Flare. What's your manifest creature? Another Oculus. We need that gone. We can Besiege you our Ugin's Lab. Unfortunately, it is specifically opponent controls. We can Misty Rainforest fetch. And then take a peek. We can hedge maze, but the Birthing Writ, I guess we could have done this after the Birthing Writ trigger to try and set up their top deck. We'll just fail to find here. I don't think they have much to deal with the Emrakul, right? Once it's hit board. No, there's nothing really here that can work. So then we'll just besiege you, lab. Just got out of hand. Yep. And there's my forest. And then we're going to want to go to combat. Attack with the manifest creature. Attack with Oculus. We get rid of both Oculus. And we'll sacrifice the Icefang Quaddle. So block and block. And then we'll go to end step. Trigger. We take a peek. We see Coin Oracle. We see an Oculus. We see an Icefang. I've looked at the cards. I'll sacrifice the Icefang. And then choose not to play anything. And then we'll pass. Okay. So, I mean, unless they have a blocker here, they lose. There's Birthing Writ. And you find a Fibblethip. You draw a card. And opponent skips it up. We'll take the win. Solid stuff. All right. Again, I think I could have sequenced that a bit better. I think I did make a misplay earlier by not grabbing that forest. In my mind, was like, okay, I kind of want a better draw after than a forest, where I was like, oh, if I would have paid a bit more attention, I should have realized I could have double cast the Chrysalis, so even if they countered one, we would have then had the second as well. But we'll be back for match 4. All right, we're back for match 4. On the draw for game 1, I will pass. What are we playing against, friend? Ooh, something Eldrazi. Broodscale, another mirror match. In that case, I'm going to start off Temple myself and pass. I would like to see a Soul Land here so I can hold a K command X2 in case they play a Broodscale here. I'm in danger. Yep, so we are going to need a needle. Yeah? Yeah. Got it again. Alright, needle, trigger, name, Blade of the Bloodchief, and pass. And pass 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna go K command. I think we're gonna have to K command ramps and exile the Brood just in case, maybe. Flesh Rake. So they definitely have the win, that's for sure. We'll get on to 18. Or not. I'll play the Karplusan Forest. So next turn, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll be short 1. I'll hold the K command. I did miss a land drop as well, that's true. Rumble. Rumble will resolve. Okay, so this is the Ice Till version. They might pick up Ice Till. Actually, no, they probably need a land, so we're going to probably pick up Saga. Yes. That makes sense to me. Fleshraker trigger. And there's Saga. Basically, they're going to want to go Saga into Might. We can't kill Fleshraker Spellskite. Wild. Yeah, right now we're short 1 on killing the Fleshrake, unfortunately. So we're going to go for the Brood before the Spellskite enters. Done. And pass and full. Spellskite is a card. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Soulland gets us to Emrakul. Otherwise, we'll have it after next turn cycle. We'll attack for 2, down to 15. That's fine. Yep, we'll draw. Speaking of Broodscale, so we can cast Chrysalis. Trigger, yield all. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we can go Karplusin into Brood. Yeah, we'll go Karplusin into Brood. Yield all. And pass. Next turn we have Emrakul, and that should lock things up pretty well. Spellskite's an interesting bit of tech, though. I do like it. We'll pass and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice thing about us taking control of their turn with a Saga on 2 is that we can then choose what they pull. Second Flesh Raker is a bit annoying, but we can get rid of both of those. And the Spellskite, no problem. When you have control of their turn. On to 11. Rumble. Yep, there's the Rumble. Ooh, there's an Emrakul in hand. Oh boy. They might go for the Broodscale, though. They did choose the Broodscale because they're assuming that they're going to be able to deal with my Pithy Needle next turn. No attacks. And draw. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we'll play the Gemstone, and here we go, friend. We need 8. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to go 1, triggers, 2, triggers, because we can, I guess actually, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think I actually want to adapt the Brood, right? Because then we can block, block, and block. Yes, I'm going to want to adapt here. Adapt. Always yes, always yield. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so we're going to sack all the spawns, yield all. Sack all the spawns, yield all. Alright, opponent. Now we get to have a bit of fun. Emrakul time. And our turn. Alright. Most Broodscale lists don't run Hate Main. Oh, they have their own Emrakul. God dang. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, this is interesting. Wait, can't they just kill them with Spellskite? Is that how that can work? Hold up. Myco spawn as well? I have to change a target, a spell, or ability to this creature. I think I can. But I would need something to target. Go to main. Saga trigger float. So how would we do this? We're gonna search. There's Blade of the Blood Chief. They don't have Haywire Might, interestingly enough. Huh. Well, that's unfortunate, I'll be honest. So, how do we want to proceed? I guess we'll float. We could 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't Myco spawn. I guess we could kick Myco spawn, kick Temple. And do they have any other utility lands here? No. Unfortunately, kicking the Myco spawn means I'm going to take a decent amount of damage though, right? Yeah, because I can't get rid of the Flesh Rake. Change a target spell or ability. Change a target of target spell or ability to this creature. Can you redirect equips to with Spellskite? Spell or ability? Is that possible to do? I'm not entirely certain if that's possible. Because theoretically, then we could grab Soul Cleaver. We can. Okay, I'm gonna trust you guys here. So we're gonna grab Soul Cleaver then. All right, I'm gonna hold priority. We're going to sack a spawn, right? Yes, that seems reasonable. Sack a spawn, trigger, and trigger. Yield all, yield all. I'm gonna hold priority again, attempt to equip to the spawn, trigger Spellskite. Pay, trigger again. So choose spell or ability. So let me do this and I'll scoop it up. Okay, that's good to know. I've never used Spellskite before. I'll be completely honest. So I was like, can I do that? I don't know if I can do that. I don't have a judge to call on. So learn something new every day. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, cool. I appreciate that information. That will be very useful in case I ever come across Spellskite again. Do I think that will ever happen? Probably not. I think my opponent's probably going to take that Spellskite right out their deck right after this. But I was like, yeah, never again. That's not an option. All right, so we're going to want Unholy Heat. Yeah, I was like, oh, Spellskite's kind of cute. And I'm like, oh, never mind. That seems like a horrible idea. We'll cut a Rumble. We'll cut a Chrysalis. We'll bring in the Wasescape. I do wonder if I want these Wasescape to be Nature's Claims. I am tempted. I think the Nature's Claims might be better. As much as I do love Wasescape Battle Mage, I think Nature's Claim might be better. So I might swap those out to Nature's Claims going forward. I'm also not entirely certain about the Warping Whales, but I think there's enough Wrath the Skies that the Warping Whales would make sense. And what else do I want? I think that's it. I guess we could bring in some Thief, but I think that's correct. Okay. Like, I could bring in a Thief for a Flesh. Fire Spout's also a consideration, though it doesn't deal with Ice Till well is the only problem. Let's run it back like this. Yeah, like I said, I definitely thought like, oh, Spellskite's cute. Like it's smart in the current meta. Though, never mind. That's no longer a good idea. Not after what I just witnessed. Sure. We have enough interaction. We can dig deep too. Sure. What say you, opponent? Tis a forest and passing. I'll draw. It's a brood, so we're looking for a blade and a payoff now. No blade, but it's a saga. We'll grab saga and we'll pass and pass. What we'll do is we'll play saga, talisman, maybe hold up heat, unless it's the brood. It's a... I'll say half Jukabog now. Must have been the sideboard, unless maybe it was in yard. I didn't realize it. Chooses ice till. So I'm tempted to heat the spawn in that case. Saga trigger, talisman, heat, spawn down, and pass. And pass. No ice till for you yet, keywords. Shifting wood. What else you got? Two. Another rumble. Another rumble. There's needle. There's another ice still. And a flesh rake. What do you grab? Chooses flesh rake. Personally, I would have taken needle here, I think. Ping cost 4. Another rumble. Whips on this member and chooses Emrakul. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Trigger. There's rumble. Interesting. So I think I'm gonna fire off rumble here. Yeah, fire off rumble. You'll gain a life. Saga. There's another flesh rake. We haven't played a land for turns. I'm gonna grab the gemstone. Play the gemstone, or do I stirrings? Because they're gonna have 5, but if they then play the ice till, that's fine, because we can get rid of it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alternatively, I could just play the flesh rake and set up. That might be the right play, to be honest. They could have brood, blade. They would need another land to equip. We know 3 out of their 5. Blade. So I'd have 1, 2, 3. Flesh rake, brood. Do they have a ghost quarter in yard? They don't have a ghost quarter in yard. So they can't ghost quarter yet. So I think we'll hold up the heat. Yeah. Let's hold up the heat and pass. And hold. So if they ice till, we can get rid of it. What they should do is sequence lands by playing a land first, play the ice till, then play a land from yard. Because we'll have 1, 2, 3. Blade, cast, equip. Yeah, so we have the win next turn. Especially if they're tapped out. If they do ghost quarter, then we're in trouble, admittedly. Okay, so they're going for the ice till. They missequence their lands then. Ice till. Oh, they do have the ghost quarter. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. So they're going to immediately do that. We're going to heat you. Yield all. Yes. Forest. And pass in full. Draw. Yeah, they should have played the Ghost Quarter first before doing that. I will Ancient Stirrings. We whiff on the Blade, but do find a Saga. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They could theoretically Ice Till if they have another land. I'll go for the Saga. I go for the Saga or the Temple, actually? I think I go for the Saga, nonetheless. Any order. Play Saga. Cast Flesh Rake. Do we cast the Broodscale? I don't think we need to right now. I'll pass. So if you have another land, you can Shifting Wood. But doesn't look like you do. There's a Flesh Rake. There's the Flesh Rake. Leaving Shifting Wood up. And Dismember. Dismember's fine. We draw. There's Beseiju. Beseiju's pretty good. In that case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we're not going to play the Devour. We're going to hold the Broodscale and hold Beseiju, make a construct. We'll play a land. No imprint. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes. We'll hold. There's Prismatic, so they could attempt the Shifting Woodland, the Ice Till, in response. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In response, we'll end up Ice or Beseijuing it if they go that route. There's Brood. Okay. Do you have the Blade? Prismatic Vista, fetch. A bit of a missequence on their part. Haywarmite is rude as hell. I'll make a construct. And that will resolve. So they must have had Haywarmite in the side. So now they can Haywarmite my Saga. Unfortunate. I guess we could have... no, actually Beseijuing the Shifting Wood wouldn't have done anything. They would just floated it, right? Huh. Alright. And we'll pass. Draw. Lab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really can't go that route. So we're just gonna hold 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're one short. I guess a good question here is how many basics do we think they're running? No imprint. I think I might Beseiju here now, right? Hit the Temple? No, hitting the Temple just means they're going to go for an Ice Till. So I think I have to hit the Ghost, or hit the Shifting Wood. Alright, not ideal, but I think it's correct. Beseiju. Do you have another basic? Chooses to use the ability. Ah, they do. Damn. Alright. Well, we'll play the Broodscale. We'll pass and pass. Saga, which means they have the Emrakul. That's so unfortunate. Yep, there's the Emrakul. I will will sack this in response. I will adapt this in response. Yes. Yield. Sack. Pass. Yeah, the fact they had the Ghost Quarter in hand was unfortunate. Alright. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're one short. Alright. Oh, this got interesting. I mean, they can't really mess with my mana. They can attack in and clear my board, but if I draw into a land, I have my own Emrakul now. Now, there is a slight issue in the way that, since they have their own brood, I guess they can only get rid of one body. You know, they get rid of the brood. Yep, makes sense to me. I need a land off top. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. Land. Might. Well, damn. Do I have an artifact in yard? I don't. But the problem is this will cost me 2. So I think I lose regardless. Because 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, 10, 11. Yeah, unfortunate. We'll push it up to 13, but then we're just dead to Emrakul regardless. We'll concede. Alrighty. So I will cut Gemstone, bring in Rumble, and run it back. Yeah, I've talked to a few Broodscale pilots now. There's mixed reception on Heat. Some people love it, some people hate it. There's like no in between of like it's just okay. Alright. On the play for game 3. I mean, yeah, we keep this. We can name Ghost Quarter from Needle if need be. We're digging for Blade here. I will say, I still is an interesting card in Brood, but I think right now Chris is kind of a necessity. An unfortunate one, but I think a necessity nonetheless. Devour Trigger. There's a second Brood. We also have a Wastegate Battle Mage, but I think I'll grab a Temple so we can dig deeper. So I'll play Temple. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Pith and Yield Ghost Quarter now. Take out Ghost Quarter and pass. And pass. Because we have a Seiju that can help us deal with a Blade if needed. No, then again, they're on a split of Blade and what's the Soul Cleaver? Ugh, now I wish I had my Wastegate. Damn. And opponent's pass and draw. We'll play the Temple, hold up the K command decks to Saga Trigger. Prismatic Vista, fetch 19. Forest and Rumble, Brood. Huh. I mean, I think I need to K command Scry Draw Exile. We could ramp Scry Draw and basically just try and wheel into a blade, but I think it's safer for me to do this. And done. Stirring's Karplusan, top, draw, and draw. I'll play the Karplusan. I mean, I have the Saga. We could hold the Boseiju. Or we could play our Broodscale. I mean, if they have land, I guess they would need land, Broodscale, and then a Ballista, which I don't think they're on. In that case, I'm going to fire off Stirrings here. We find another K command. Grab the K command and hold for X equals 2 again. Saga trigger. Float. Blade. It is another Brood. It is another Brood. I mean, we're just going to Scry Draw Exile. You knew I had the K command, so why play the Brood now? Weird. 1, 2, 3. There's a Flesh Rake. Flesh Rake, top and draw. And draw. Talisman. So I can do what here? I think I'm just going to play Flesh Rake Brood. And then Brood. Start applying pressure. And pass, because they can't win next turn. We can guarantee that. There's a Might. We'll draw. There's a Rumble. I will fire off Rumble here. Yield all. And there's Blade. Alright. I mean, that should just be the game, right? Unless they have Force of Vigor, I suppose. So, cast Blade of the Blood Chief. Triggers. Equip Blade of the Blood Chief. And we'll scoop it up. We got the win. Solid stuff. We'll be back for match number 5. Alright, we're back for match 5. On the draw for game 1, I'll keep, reveal, and pass. Supposedly against Grixis Reanimator, Scouting Tarn could represent that. Trigger. There's Brood, there's Flesh. I'll go with Brood. Draw. Play Temple. I'm going to play Needle, see if this resolves. Name Scouting Tarn. Pass. Trust me, opponent. I know how it feels. I've been there, done that. Theater Surveil. Umbra Bones to Yard. And draw. Flesh Rake. Let's cast the Rumble. No dice. I'll grab a Talisman the ramp. And I'll pass. And pass. And Thought Scour. Whiffs. Faithless Looting. There's an Archon to yard. That is concerning. We'll draw. Oh. Do I just win? So I can cast... Can I win this turn, actually? So we cast Flesh. We cast Brood. No, I think I'm short, aren't I? Right? Because Flesh isn't already on board. If I cast Brood, cast Blade, I can equip. I can't do anything else after. If I cast Flesh, cast Brood, cast Blade, I can equip, but then I can't do anything else. Okay, so in that case, I will cast Flesh Raker. I will cast Blade of the Blood Chief. Play around Spell Pierce. And then play Talisman of Impulse. Kneel to all. And then equip to Flesh Rake. And pass. Next turn we have the win in hand. Watery Grave. Unearth Emperor Bones. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Because that will be able to attack. Yep, so we'll sacrifice the spawn. We'll pitch Boseiju. We'll trigger the blade. So maybe keeping 2 spawns was right for this exact reason. Pitch Devourer. Yeah, if I had kept the 2 spawns, we had the win. Draw. Chrysalis. So I can cast Brood. So I can cast Brood. We can equip Adapt, yeah. Alright. And then I will equip Adapt. Always yes, always yield. I will sacrifice this a bunch of times. Alright. You're able to play around Spell Pierce earlier, thankfully, because Scouting Tarn is under Needle right now. But yeah, I made a misplay by playing the Talisman. Had I had the second spawn still on board, we would have played around the Emperor of Bones Unearth into Archon. So, bit unfortunate, but c'est la vie. Alright, we'll pass. I have an infinitely powerful creature, but I can't attack with it is the problem. And there's the push, damn. I guess I could have sequenced that. Maybe I should have sequenced it in the opposite direction. Because had I played the Chrysalis, they wouldn't have been able to... Yeah, I guess. Well, then they would have Thoughtseized the Brood. No, they still would have been able to push the Chrysalis too, since they had the fetch. Wild. Unearth Frog. Yeah, so realistically speaking, in the grand scheme, I misplayed by by simply not actually 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll block. How do we do this now? Draw 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I'm gonna lose here. I'll concede. Okay, so I should have taken into consideration that they could have unearthed the Emperor Bones. Had I done so, then I would have held back 2 spawns. And by doing so, the Flesh Raker could have still remained on board, and we would have won the following turn. So, a bit of a misplay on my part. I should have taken that into consideration, and I did not. So Ring Cavernous Souls, we can cut the Boseiju. Vaccine Bottle's not needed. Eremite's not needed. Heat is. Graph Diggers is. Warping Whale is. Gemstone out. And I think 2 Chrysalis out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's run it back. Alright. On the play for game 2. I will keep. We'll play the Springleaf Drum on 1, so there's no point in us playing the Ancient Stirrings with the Devourer trigger. Funnel Mulligan down to 6. Yeah. You have Needle again. We could also just slam Needle Frog. Funnel Mulligan down to 4, which is relevant. Okay. Devour trigger. There's Warping Whale, there's Blade. I mean, we have to take the Blade. Cast Drum and pass. And pass. Surveil. There's Blade. So, I mean, I can play Broodscale, cast Blade. And then we can adapt. We have no ability to equip unless I draw into another land. Right? So I can play the Karplusan. We can cast the Brood, cast Stirrings. Blade equip. Well, I guess... Hold up. We also could adapt, but adapting... I guess actually adapting does create the spawn for us to start the loop. Yeah. That does actually seem correct. Brood. And then adapt now. Adapt. Yes. Yield. And now I just need to hope that they don't have a push or a... whatchamacallit? Push or a bolt. We'll hold. Running cat. Fetch 19. 4 cards in hand. Watergrave Shock for Frog. Frog is fine. And yeah, we should be good. This should be a win now. Because they have no removal. We're going to be able to remove the Frog with Devourer, so we don't even need a finisher. So unless they have a Force in hand, which I believe they might play like a 2 of on the side. And draw. I'll play the Grove. Excuse me. Cast Blade. Equip Blade. And sack. Always yield. And opponent scoops it up. They're not gonna wait. Alright, we'll go to sideboard. We'll bring back in the gemstone and cut a rumble and run it back again. Yeah, if they had force there, we were in trouble, but thankfully they did not. Heat. I mean, I do want to keep this hand. We just need to fire off a Stirrings on one for lands here. Scouting turn fetch. They kept opening 7 trigger. There's Graph Diggers. Graph Diggers is tempting, but I think we need to grab a land. I'm going to grab a Cavernous Souls. Draw Karplusan for Stirrings. Does Stirrings resolve, or do you have a Spell Pierce? No Spell Pierce. Whale. I think I'm going to grab a Temple, though, and pass. So unless if they fetch Surveil, Persist, then, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, keep it on top, so no Persist line. Artergrave Shock for a frog. I have 2 types in yard. We can hold the K command for the persist line. There's an Emrakul. I'm gonna hold here, kind of have to. Scouting turn. And frog will hit. Yep. Second main, pitch, unearth. And I can't really let this resolve. I'm gonna ramp and exile cards in yard. Let me make sure that I am actually targeting that card, please. Ramp, exile, and done. Alright, do you have a Spell Pierce or Consign? There is Consign. Yield to all. 3 types in yard, though, so we're close to heat for the Ock. Holy Yield. And draw. In that case, I'm going to fire off the Rumble. Rumble resolves. I will grab the Lab. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Play the Karplusan, and we're going to go to end step to see if they will sack that scouting turn. I'm going to Unholy Heat now. Ock down, yield all. The next turn we can attempt for a Devourer. Oh geez. Might have to pitch a Blade to the Archon trigger if that does happen. If they have a Persist. Oh, even if they have a Persist, I'm kind of boned because I'm going to have to sack that spawn, aren't I? Shoot. Yep. Did you find a Persist? You found an Emperor Bones. But thankfully you don't have it yet. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to have to tuck that Emrakul, devour the Emperor, and hope that last card in hand's not a Consign. Frog floats. I guess 2 cards in hand. We'll take the hit from the Manifest creature down to 12. Yeah, if one of those two cards is consigned, I'm in trouble. There's a K command. Ugin Slap, Imprint, and yeah, we have to go for the Devourer, I think. Target Bones, yield all. Ah, shit. No, Swamp, that's fine. Unless, what is this? What do you do with a Swamp? Weird. Okay. Unearth the Auk, fine. Not ideal, but fine. We can get rid of it with the K command. And ramp for the Emrakul. One card in hand again. I guess they're going to have two again. Yep. So down to 9. This frog actually is a problem. It's going to freaking beat me down to death. Black Thoughtseize. Frick. That's so unfortunate. Trigger. Draw Saga. I lose. Right? Pitch Frog Float. Wins. Yeah. Damn. I do wonder. I mean, okay, so let's roll it back with like perfect knowledge. If I would have still tucked the Emrakul, right? Went K command, ramp, and exile Emperor Bones. We would have had 4 spawns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 13. So I guess a question could be, would it have been a better play for me to have cast K command, X equals, I guess it would actually, yeah, it would have been X equals 4, K command X equals 4, tucking the Emrakul to insulate it from a Thoughtseize, exiling the Emperor Bones. We would have made 4 spawns, Devour would have still been in hand. Yes, they would have still had the Oculus, right? Like at the end of the day, we had to get rid of Emperor Bones. Otherwise, a hasty Archon was coming at our face. So, was the best move to cast Devour to put a body on board to block, or to play the K command instead of for the Emrakul? I mean, in this specific case, if I was able to untap with Cavernous Souls, play Emrakul, and guarantee the body, we'd be still alive, right? And if we were able to take control of their turn, then we could potentially even win. So that may have been the right move. Of course, if their one of card in hand at that point was a Spell Pierce, we were SOL. Admittedly, if it was a consign, we're SOL regardless, right? They would have consigned the trigger or consigned the K command. The Devoured played around a consign, but yeah. The Thoughtseize off top absolutely ruined me. I don't know. I don't know what the right move is there. I mean, Devour plays around Spell Pierce. But the consign would have allowed for us to get to an Emrakul the following turn, guaranteed. Regardless, though, we had to get rid of the Emperor Bones in that moment, so hard to say. I think both are valid options, and of course, with like 2020 knowledge, the Emrakul line's probably better. Or with perfect knowledge, the Emrakul is probably better, but we didn't have perfect knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. Because if we assume that, okay, they're left with a manifest creature and a frog, we go, okay, we have a K command. We can now deal with the frog. Or if they, get an Oculus again, we can deal with the Oculus, right? The only thing that really hoses us is, again, Consign or Thoughtseize, and they found the Thoughtseize likely off the frog. Yeah, that one's a hard one. I don't think there's a right choice. I think with the knowledge we had, playing around the Spell Pierce was correct, because again, if that Archon resolves, we're SOL, we're dead. So I think we had to get rid of the Emperor Bones and had to ensure there's as few outs as possible. So I think the Devour is probably correct. Again, with Perfect Knowledge, I think the Emrakul line of K Command X4 into Emrakul the following turn was correct, but I don't think there was a world where I envisioned them drawing into a Thoughtseize in that exact moment, right? Or drawing into Unearth for Oculus and Thoughtseize. So, unfortunate, but it is what it is. With that being said, that there will be the end of tonight's YouTube video with a 3-2 record at the end of 5. Not bad, all things considered, especially as I was definitely shaking off the rust there. Probably for like the first, I would say, like, first 3 matches, I'll be real. Still, honestly, a little bit rusty. Definitely been playing much more Ramp than Broodscale. I do like this list, though. I do like the Talisman of Impulse. I like the Unholy Heats. I like its ability to still play Fire Spout for energy, right? Because that's still a deck that we have to respect, and it's still okay-ish into Prowess, of course. And then Chrysalis, I think, is good. I almost want more copies. Of course, it's better into the more aggressive decks, and we saw none of those today, right? We saw 2 Broodscale, we saw 2 Breathing Rituals, we saw Reanimator. We saw nothing where Chrysalis is good. So Chrysalis did look extraordinarily bad for the most part here. I think if we run into more Zoo, Prowess, Energy, it looks a lot better. There's some thought to maybe trimming on an Ancient Stirrings for a 3rd Chrysalis, if we do think we need more anti-aggro support. So that is another thing to consider as well. Also still like Warping Whale on the side for Wrath of Skies, because that still is pretty popular. So overall, I think this is a decent list. I just need to perform better, personally. I think, if anything, the list did not fail me. I failed the list, but only other thing I might change is maybe Wayscape to a Nature's Claim, since we can play it at instant speed, and I think that is pretty important into matchups like Titan and even Affinity, right? By taking out Urza Saga. So that's another thing to consider, I think. But regardless, I will end my idle ramblings there. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please do consider hitting the follow button or hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. Be much appreciated. For as much that I hope y'all learn from me, both my successes and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you ever supported the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button as we continue to grow this channel. However, if you do want to watch these videos recorded live over on Twitch, you can catch me there Sundays through Thursdays at 10 p.m. CST and Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. CST for the weekend challenges. Otherwise, you can head over to my Patreon where you can support me monetarily and watch these videos early and ad-free. With that being said though, folks, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!